today's meal prep video. I am happy that you clicked on this video and I hope that you enjoy it. My name is Jennifer. I'm 45 years old. I've been doing the WW Blue plan for a little over a year now. I started in September of 2019 and I've lost 62 pounds so far. And for about a year or so we've been doing this Sunday meal prep, and then I decided to start my YouTube channel. So I'm happy that you joined me. I hope that you like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my uploads. I upload about 3 to 4 times per week on average, and I am happy to have you here. So for the menu this week we have lasagna. My husband is going to have like a regular lasagna. He just makes his in a little small like 8x8 casserole dish. I'm going to do zucchini boats for mine. Also with that we will have the 2 ingredient garlic rolls that I like to make. And then for our second meal we are going to have chicken fajitas. So I have a ton of bell peppers to wash and slice up, and also my zucchinis to wash. I kind of have all of my fruits and veggies sitting out over here. I have my oxo salad spinner here. I will wash everything up in vinegar and water, and we are going to get to prepping. Okay guys, I'm probably not going to show my face very much. I'm going to angle y'all down into the sink a little bit more. I've got my oxo salad spinner in there. If you can hear noise in the back, you know my husband is my sous chef and he pretty much does all of the chopping and stuff for me, but I am going to wash up the vegetables. He is trying to cut my pineapple right now, and it is a little bit hard if you've never cut your own pineapple, but hang on, let me flip you around and show you this. So whenever he pulls it out by that cord, that's kind of how it comes out. And then he just chops it up into the little bite-sized chunks for me. But it saves us a ton of money because a pineapple, we picked this one up at Sam's Club. I think it was $2 and something. If you buy it already in the chunks at the grocery store, you're going to spend between $6 and $10 depending on how large of a package, especially like at Publix, which their fruit's always delicious, but you know, over time we have just figured out that we paid $7 or $7.99 for that little core thing at Kroger one day, and so he does all of my prep work, especially on the pineapple and stuff. And then he'll also chop the cantaloupe and he'll slice the peppers and everything while I start prepping some of the other stuff. So anyway, I'm going to angle you down and just kind of zoom through how I wash these vegetables with the vinegar and water. Okay, so I have about half of the peppers in here in the vinegar and water. I'm just going to kind of push them around because it's obviously over full. So this week I always use 3 peppers, usually a green, a red, and a yellow for my breakfast to dice up. So 3 of these will be diced for that, and then the remainder of these will be used for the chicken fajitas. And now I'm just going to do round 2 of the peppers. I got the first batch over there drying. I'm going to do the peppers, and then I'm going to go ahead and wash my zucchini. And then I'm going to wash this tomato actually. I'm going to put it in with the peppers. I forgot it can go in there as well. I'm going to get these washed up, wash up the zucchini, and then I will let the blueberries soak for about 10 minutes or so. Okay, blueberries are in. I'm just going to let them soak for a little bit, and then I'll just put them in a bowl with some paper towels and let them dry. I've got my zucchini over here drying. I've washed all of the peppers, and so Charlie's almost through with my cantaloupe and pineapple, and then he's going to get to slicing up the peppers for me. And in the meantime, I'm going to get everything together for the lasagnas, and we're going to start on those. I'm going to boil his lasagna noodles. I guess I could turn y'all up where you could see my face. I'm going to boil his lasagna noodles. We have been using the no bake, and he did pick up a box of the no bake noodles whenever he went to Walmart Friday and got groceries. But there is a box of regular Barilla lasagna noodles in there, and I think that we need to go ahead and use those up. Even though he uses the little short pan, I'm like, we'll just cut them. You know, we have some kitchen scissors, so we can literally just cut it to the size. And I actually think that it'll taste better. Sometimes I feel like when he uses those no bake or no boil noodles that it seems like it's a little hard or something. So I'm gonna start prepping the ground beef and the ground turkey and let him finish doing the chopping for all of the peppers and stuff for the chicken fajitas, and then he's also gonna slice up the chicken as well. So that's what's next. I'm going to get everything together and I will be right back and we will get started on the lasagna. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and assemble my fruit bowls just like I do every week with my blueberries, my cantaloupe, and my pineapple. I have already diced up the peppers because I'm making one of my pizzas and I didn't have any peppers, so we diced those up real quick, and I just store those in this Rubbermaid container with the paper towels just to absorb the moisture. So the peppers are done, and I'm just going to throw these together real quick and then do my yogurt. I have the little containers here for my non-fat Greek yogurt, and I will fill all that up as well. I'm going to see if I can get this done in 5 minutes because that's how much longer it is going to be before the pizza is done.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. Fill my head with roses. I can't help but dream away, standing on a field with you.
I got all of them in. As you saw, my husband had to grab the pizzas out of the oven. I almost made it in the 5 minutes, but I'm going to turn you around and just show you the finished product real quick, and then we are going to take a break and eat lunch. Okay guys, here is the finished fruit and yogurt that y'all just saw me put together. And then I showed you that we had already diced up the peppers and they are just stored in this Rubbermaid container. And then Charlie also went ahead and has my tomatoes sliced, and he has the peppers sliced up for the chicken fajitas as well. So we've kind of got all of our produce prepped. I will have to prep my zucchini for the lasagna boats, but I will just do that right whenever I get ready to make them. So we're going to take a break, eat lunch, and then get started on the rest of the meal prep. All right guys, I'm going to get ready to start on the zucchini boats now, and so I had to pull up my recipe in my app to check the points on it. So this will end up to be 3 points per serving. I will use, the only thing that really has points is the fat-free cottage cheese. I use 229 grams of it, and that is 3 points. And then the Newman's Own Saccharini pasta sauce is 7 points because I'm going to use half of that jar, which is 340 grams. And then when you divide that by 3 servings, that comes out to 3 points each. So the first step on the zucchini boats is to get your zucchini ready. You have to basically slice them in half, scoop the insides out, and then we're going to pre-roast those for about 15 minutes in the oven. And then while that's pre-roasting, I will start browning my ground turkey and then adding in everything else. So for the zucchini boats, I'm just going to chop the ends off. And these are actually really small zucchinis. I was going to do like 3 large ones to where I could just have 1 zucchini per night, but since they were small, my husband went ahead and picked up 6 of them, so I will really have 2 whole zucchini for my dinner because these are little. And then you just take a spoon and scrape out the inside. I'm sure if you wanted to, you could save this to do something with it, but I'm not going to save it because there's just nothing that I have to use the inside of that with. Just like that, it makes a little boat. So I'm going to go through and I think I'm going to spray my aluminum foil. I have this sheet here, this pan lined with aluminum foil. I'm just going to spray that so they don't stick too bad and get all of these cut and lined up.
Will I cry? Will I leave behind broken and crumbled signs, hiding all my roads to you? Uh-oh. And if I fight, will I come to life, calling for all your light, giving all my heart to you?
have all of the zucchinis done. I had to get out another little small pan. One of them would not fit into the other pan. And then you want to put some pink Himalayan sea salt on there. And we're going to roast those in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes at 400 degrees. So I'm just going to go ahead and put mine in. I usually split it down the middle. I'm going to put it in for like 13 or 14 minutes. Okay, so the recipe that I'm using actually came from confessionsofafitfoodie.com. So I will link the original recipe in the description box below for y'all. Of course, I am making some modifications. I'm using the zucchini. This one calls for Italian poultry sausage, which I'm not going to use. I'm going to use the extra lean ground turkey breast for 0 points. And then 2 cups of baby spinach, 1.5 cups of ricotta or cottage cheese, which we are doing fat-free cottage cheese, 1 egg, half a cup of mozzarella cheese, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, and then 1 1/4 cups of homemade pasta, and they have a link to that, or no sugar added jar like Rayo's, or we're going to use the Newman's own Saccaroni. It is also no sugar added. And then it says optional garnishes fresh basil, and I did not pick up any fresh basil. So while the zucchini boats are baking in the oven, I'm going to brown the turkey, and then I'm going to add in the spinach and saute that with it until it wilts. And then you put in 1/4 cup of sauce and set that aside. And then in a bowl, I'm going to mix the egg, the cottage cheese, the mozzarella, some of the Parmesan cheese in a bowl, and then we'll kind of layer it in the zucchini boats just like you normally do lasagna, and then it will go back in the oven for 20 more minutes. So let's get into it. Okay, so I have my turkey, and I guess it would help if I cut the stove on. I put my ground turkey in, and I've just seasoned it with some salt and pepper, and I'm just going to let this brown up and then add in the spinach and cook it some more until it wilts, and then kind of do what the rest of the ingredients, what the rest of the recipe said. While this is browning, I'm going to go ahead and measure out half of this jar of pasta sauce. This is the one that we like to use. This is the Saccaroni Newman's own, and there's 680 grams in here, and so I'm going to measure 340 grams out for me and do 340 grams for my husband as well. And then I forgot to say that we are going to add in some of the Hunt's diced tomatoes. He's fixing to grab that for me out of the cabinet. That way we just have a little bit more sauce, because sometimes whenever we try to split this, and he's making a pretty good sized little lasagna for himself and stuff, then it'll be a little bit less saucy. And so these are 0 points. So I'll probably use about half the can in my mixture, and then he will as well. Plus this just adds a little chunky tomato in there and a little bit more flavor. Okay, so my turkey is nice and brown, almost too brown. I went to get my cheese out of the refrigerator and forgot to check on it for a minute. So we're going to go ahead and add in, it says 2 cups of spinach, which I have no idea how much is in here, but we're just going to put in some good handfuls. If you've ever cooked spinach, you know it wilts down, and this is 0 points. And I hate to waste whatever's left of this, so. Okay, so I think this is ready to go ahead and add in. It says 1/4 cup of the sauce, but since I mixed some extra tomatoes in there, I'm just going to add in about that much. Probably about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup. And then I have measured out my mozzarella cheese, 1/4 cup, 1/4 cup of my mild shredded cheddar cheese. Both of those are fat-free. And my cottage cheese, the 229 grams of it. And then in one bowl I have an egg, I have my cottage cheese, and I have half of the mozzarella cheese and shredded cheddar cheese. And then I reserved a little bit of the shredded cheddar and mozzarella cheese to sprinkle on top. And then I will just take 3 grams of this Parmesan cheese and just sprinkle that on the top at the very end before I put them in the oven. I'm actually going to add a little bit more sauce there. And I did turn the heat off on my stove for a minute because my turkey was about to burn while the spinach wilted. But I'm going to turn it back up now and get this finished up. We just pulled the zucchini boats out of the oven. I'll show you those in just a second once I can move everything over. My camera is on a big tripod, and my kitchen might look kind of big on camera, but it's really not. So there's not a lot of room to set everything up. But I'll show you those, of course, once I start to assemble them. Okay, so here are the zucchini boats. They look good. It does say to blot out any extra moisture if you have any, which mine don't really look like they have a lot of moisture. Sometimes that can be a little deceptive. I use zoodles a lot, fresh zoodles, and I always have a lot of moisture in those, but the zucchini boats aren't that bad. But I'm just going to dab them off a little bit, and then we're going to start layering. So we're going to add this mixture into all of them, and I'm not going to be perfect about it. Just going to make sure that they all get some. And my husband is assembling his lasagna. We have a Ninja crock pot that also has a saute function on it because I couldn't have him over here in the way of the camera and everything, so he's using that to brown his ground beef and mix his sauce together. And he used to make lasagna all the time, so he really knows how to make it like he likes it. So that gets all of the meat mixture in. I'm going to add a little bit of sauce and do the ricotta, and then add a little bit more sauce because I have a little extra sauce here. And that's one thing with recipes, you can always just kind of do your own little take on them to whatever you prefer. Don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to swap out ingredients or whatever. It's usually going to turn out just fine.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the light.
And then I'm just going to take 3 grams of this. I'm just going to take a tablespoon and tear it out and take out 3 grams worth. Okay. So that really is not a lot, but we're just going to lightly sprinkle it. Okay, and now they are ready to go back in the oven for 20 more minutes, and then it says to broil for the last couple of minutes if you want to make it nice and golden brown, if it's not brown enough for you. So I'm gonna pop these in and then we'll see what they look like. Okay guys, here are the zucchini lasagna boats. They look delicious, nice and cheesy, and it's gonna be 3 points per serving. And then I will pair this with some 2-ingredient garlic rolls, which I am getting ready to start making those. My husband's lasagna is in the oven, so I have to wait for it to finish. And then I just have 2 things to bake. That is my 2-ingredient garlic rolls and my cookies. But this looks delicious. I'm going to plate it up and show you that plated up. It's really not that pretty once I put it in the containers. It's actually prettier in the pan, but anyway, it's still delicious. Okay guys, here are the zucchini lasagna boats up close. After I plated them up, like I said, they're prettier when they come out of the oven in the pan before I break them apart. But trust me, this is a delicious filling meal, especially paired with the garlic rolls. It smells delicious. I can't wait to eat it. This is probably what we'll have tonight, I think. We'll see. Okay guys, I'm finally ready to start on the chicken fajitas. I'm going to get the peppers in first because they always take the longest. And I'm just going to spray that pan, turn it on, grab my peppers. actually, before I put them in, I'm gonna salt and pepper them on one side, and then I'll salt and pepper them again once I put them in. Y'all know I love to overly season everything. And then in addition to that, I'm just going to add some of this Fajita seasoning, if you can see that. This is my favorite fajita seasoning. I don't like to buy the little packets, but I will use this on my peppers and in my chicken and actually in the cauliflower rice. I hope I have another one of those because that's looking pretty low. And then for my chicken, same thing. Charlie has sliced up my chicken here, so I'm going to salt and pepper it and get it in the pan. I'm actually going to spray the top of my peppers a little bit. I'll stir those up in a minute. And then I'm just going to salt and pepper the chicken, put it in the skillet, and then salt and pepper the other side, and then we will add fajita seasoning, probably some cumin and some chili powder also. I know that sounds loud, but I'm just going to let the chicken cook for a little bit and then add in some more seasonings. For the cauliflower rice, I have 3 bags of this Green Giant rice veggies. It's a cauliflower medley, and I just always like to get this one. It's just got the little peas and stuff in it. And these are frozen. We're just going to put those in there and basically let it warm up until they soften. And then I just like to add a bunch of salt and pepper. I'm going to add 3 pins of Rotel, and then some cumin, fajita seasoning, and chili powder as well. I'm going to use 1 can of the hot with the habanero chilies in it, and 2 cans of original. And then we're going to sprinkle in a generous portion of the fajita seasoning. And then for this Spanish cauliflower rice, I'm just going to mix it up really well. Sorry, I got distracted there for a minute. I had to stir that chicken. It was starting to burn. And basically this will just cook and it will soften up, and then you just want to cook it until there's no more liquid left in it. It will really kind of look like rice. And I'll probably taste it once it's nice and warm and see if it needs any more seasoning. But that habanero rotel is pretty hot, so I don't want to go overboard and put too much. Okay, so the chicken fajitas are done. I'm going to take those off and set them to the side. And the cauliflower rice, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it still has quite a bit of liquid in there, so it's going to have to just sit here and simmer for a little while longer. Okay guys, chicken fajitas are finally done, and the cauliflower Spanish rice. I'm going to get this plated up and then move on to my 2-ingredient garlic rolls and my protein cookies. And at this point is kind of like where I'm like, I'm tired and ready to sit down, but I always push through and get it done. This whole meal comes out to just 1 point the way that it is. The cauliflower fried rice with the chicken fajitas and everything, almost everything is 0 points except for that fajita sauce that I put in there. So with this, I will eat my baked Tostitos, and that's where I will get, 3 to 4 extra points depending on how much it is that I eat. I have some little 3-point bags, but I also have another bag that I need to finish up where I bought a larger one at the store. So anyway, that's how I'll get points in with this meal. So I'm of course not going to perfectly measure it out.
You're gone now, will you call me back? Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. You're the traveling kind, it's a known fact. Yeah, I know that. Once you've seen all the things, all the places, I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart, I hope I'll be your destination.
all plated up, I'm gonna turn the camera around and get a good view for you. Okay guys, here are the chicken fajitas and the cauliflower fried rice. Again, these come out to 1 point per serving. And so we will eat these with, I will eat them with baked Tostitos. I think my husband actually likes to use his tortilla wraps and make, you know, like a real fajita or whatever out of it. But I just eat the chicken and the peppers, and then I like to dip the cauliflower rice with my Tostitos chips. So, looks delicious. I'm telling y'all, this is a great meal and it's very filling. Okay guys, I am ready to make my 2 ingredient, well really 3 ingredients, since I'm going to add some garlic powder to this to make it taste like garlic rolls. But I have 1.5 cups of self-rising flour in here. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, which I hope I have enough. I always like to add my dry ingredients and mix those together well before I add in the yogurt. So I have 1.5 cups of self-rising flour, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and then I've just got 1 cup of the Chobani non-fat Greek yogurt. And this is really sticky if you've never made it before. I do like to use some butter spray, which I will show you how I do that and how I portion it out so that it doesn't stick to my hands as badly. But basically, I'm just going to mix this garlic powder in the flour as well as I can. And then we're going to mix in the yogurt and until it kind of becomes kind of crumbly, and then I'm going to go in with my hands and knead it until I get it kneaded into a nice big dough ball. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to wash my hands, do a quick little cleanup, and then I will be right back and show you how I measure this out and get them in the oven. Okay guys, so I have a big baking sheet here. I'm just going to spray it with some butter spray. But then I'm going to keep the butter spray because I'm going to spray it on my hands to manipulate the dough. So I want to make 18 rolls out of this. So what I'm going to do is measure it and see how much this weighs. So this weighs 478 grams. So I'm going to take 478 grams divided by 18. And it comes up to 26.5. So I'm going to do about 26 grams per roll. And to me, that's the easiest way to kind of get an accurate measurement. So now what I'm going to do, which I'm going to be hitting that tear button a lot, and I'm just going to pull off 26 grams until I have my 18 rolls over and over again. There we go, that one's exactly 26. So I have the 18 rolls together, and then what I'm going to do is spray them with the butter spray. And then we're going to take some garlic salt and put on the tops of them. And I do not like this Target garlic salt. It is like in a hard lump or something. I'm going to have to get some more. I can't be dealing with this. Okay, now we have them with the butter spray on them, garlic salt. They're going in the oven at 350 degrees for 12 minutes, but then I'm going to put them up on the top rack and put them on broil for a little bit so that they're nice and brown. Okay guys, I'm going to get ready to make my cookies that I make every week. You need the chocolate cupcake PE Science Select protein powder. You could probably use any chocolate protein powder. I use 1 scoop of that. I use 1 scoop of this Matrix peanut butter cookie. You can get both of these on Amazon. I'm going to use about 5 grams or so of the Hershey's dark, special dark cocoa, and then 5 grams of the Jell-O sugar-free instant chocolate fudge pudding. I'm going to use half a can of this pumpkin, which this is the other half left from the batch that I made last week. I always start with about 100 grams or so of egg whites, and then just kind of, you know, if I need to add more, I will. And then a big heaping tablespoon of the baking powder. And then at the end, I will add in 14 grams of the dark chocolate chips. Okay, let's see if we can get these mixed up before the garlic rolls are done, which they only have 7 minutes left. So I'm going to take 1 scoop of the chocolate protein powder, 1 scoop of the peanut butter cookie protein powder, 5 grams of the Hershey's cocoa. Let me grab my scale. And finish that off. And then 5 grams of the Jell-O sugar-free pudding mix. And then a big tablespoon of baking powder. And I'm just going to mix all the dry ingredients up until they are well combined. Add in the pumpkin and the egg whites. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add in my pumpkin, which I'm just going to use whatever's left in this can. It should be a little over 200 grams. And then I'm going to add in my egg whites. Shake them up a little bit. I stopped on exactly 100 grams, which is usually surprising. Usually it's 1 or 2 over or just a little under. Which this is definitely going to need some more egg whites. It's very dry. So I think that looks good. I'm going to add in my 14 grams of dark baking chips. And then I'm going to put everything away, get my baking sheet out, and we will get these portioned out into 12 cookies. And these come out to 1 point for 2 cookies, and it's 2 points for 3 cookies. Okay, I have my pan here, and I have sprayed it with just some of the Baker's Joy spray. And I'm just going to try to scoop it out into 12 even scoops. Okay, here's the 12 cookies. They are ready to go in the oven. I'm only going to put them in for about 9 minutes. You don't want to overbake them, and they are kind of gooey whenever you first get them out, but after they set, then they will kind of firm up a little bit. So I never eat them immediately. I'll just let them set until they're kind of flattened out, and they're usually good. If they're real squishy, then I'll put them in for 1 more minute. Okay guys, I just got the garlic rolls out of the oven. They look delicious, perfectly browned on top and the bottom. So these are really good. They are definitely worth trying. They're definitely low in points. I put this in my tracker to see like if it did the Weight Watchers math and it went up, but it doesn't. So 3 of them is 3 points. And I love that. Guys, I just got my cookies out. They've been sitting here probably for about 5 minutes or so, and so they have flattened down nicely like they should. And I'm going to put them on a plate, and then we're going to get a picture of all of the food and everything, and I am done for the day. I'm tired. I also just put my last load of laundry in the dryer. So anyway, it's been a very productive day, but I'm glad that I finally got it all done. Thanks for watching my meal prep video today. I hope that you got some good tips and ideas. We made the chicken fajitas, cauliflower, Spanish rice, I almost said fried rice, lasagna zucchini boats for myself, regular lasagna for my husband. I have 2 ingredient garlic rolls, and my chocolate peanut butter protein cookies. So all of these are low point meals. If you are struggling to find low point meals, these would be great options for you. The rolls are only 1 point each, and then with my fajitas, I will eat the baked Tostitos, which I buy the little bags. They are 3 points for the small bags, and then sometimes if I have enough points, I might eat 2 bags if I want it. But anyway, you can just always kind of play around with your food, figure out how to swap things out, and you know, make things lower points. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please click subscribe down below. I am glad that you were here, and I hope that you enjoy this. And I usually post 3 to 4 videos per week, and it will range from meal prep videos, what I eat in a day. Sometimes I'll just do like a daily vlog with what I eat in a day, and grocery hauls, things like that, and then some sit down videos as well. So again, thank you for joining me, and I will see y'all in the next video.